a hot root here because of the heat from her scalp. And then this area in here, if we tried to put color or bleach from here to here, she would end up with a hot root, and then she would end up with a shadow or a band, a really horrible band. And then she would have her bright blonde through the ends. So with this technique, we're using foil, and we're just sandwiching in our formula here. I'm using a lightener with whatever I had down stored in my basement. I don't have access to the salon right now, so just using whatever I had. So I had some pretty old 20 volume developer down there that was some Pilot product, and then I had a 40 volume down there as well. So I've mixed them together, and I'm just using whatever I had. And I am coming to you today from Connecticut in the US. I work in New York City for Scott J Salon, and I'm really missing my salon crew, my family. It's weird being out of the salon for so long. Who else is missing their salon family as well? Let me know. So we're just coloring and coloring and coloring. This can be a pretty tedious process. So when you go, if and when you use this, I would suggest charging by the hour for this, because you don't want to use big sections. You want to keep your sections thin and small so that you have really good control over what you're doing. So again, I'm keeping this product a 1/2 inch off for new growth, making sure that I'm working that hair back and forth. I'm gonna lift this foil and soften that edge. And I do this whether I'm doing highlights or this technique. I just like that soft kind of dismount of the color. I got that word from Lupe, dismount. I love that. All right, so we're just continuing on up the head, small sections at a time. And you can just, the great thing about this is that the sectioning is very simple. It's just 2 panels going up the back, 2 panels going up the side, and then at the crown and the back, there's just a small triangle that we call the triangle of life. I'll show that to you in just a second. That section at the crown of her head just starts to get a little too narrow for the 2 panels to go all the way up. They would kind of get in the way of one another. So I want to make sure that I want to show you real quick. Where's my thing? There we go. So spin her around here. So we have this triangle through the top, right in her crown. That encompasses her point of distribution. And then I have the 2 panels going down the back. All right. And the reason that we do the foils this way is sandwiching. I can move these around really easy. I can open this back up really easy to address the mid links and ends if I need to. And then also I can easily pull this foil down to when I start to apply her new growth area. So that's the reason why we're doing the foils the way we are, and we're not folding them all pretty. We're just leaving them nice and straight. All right, so here we go. We're just keeping this going, moving up the head, just horizontal, because we're gonna go back and do her new growth area as well. So it's not a big deal. She's not gonna end up with horizontal lines or anything like that. It's not like it's a highlight. So we're just moving up the head, working it back and forth, making sure that we get that really good saturation. Another thing that if you're ever wondering, am I getting this saturated enough? You can lift your foil, your hair off of foil like this. And if there is any foil that's showing through here, that means that you're not getting proper saturation. I'm seeing that this is totally covered with lightener. So that means that she's getting that saturation that she needs so that she will not end up with any shadows or anything, that's not going to make her color pretty. So I'm gonna sandwich that on there. So lots of sandwiches, kind of making me hungry. It's kind of our lunchtime here. So there we go. All right, so she's getting a little too tall for me, so I'm gonna ask her to scooch down a little bit for me. Remember, whenever you're working behind the chair, sometimes your clients kind of have to help you out if they really like you doing their hair. Otherwise, you're gonna end up old and not be able to work behind the chair anymore. So we really have to watch out for our bodies and how we stand and all of that. And I try and do that. But you know, we're such people pleasers a lot of times that, you know, our backs will hurt and we're like, oh, but you know, she's comfortable. She's on her phone. She's in her magazine, whatever. But we really have to watch out for ourselves. And for me, it's like, I'm going to take this from Loopy again. It's ask me how I know. You know, things start to hurt when you get to a certain age. So really watch out for your back, especially if you're younger. Go ahead and work on that posture now versus later. Okay, so I'm going to show you this one more time for those of you that are just joining. Here we go. So if you have someone's hair that you're working on that is compromised and their blonde is, you know, you're not real sure, or you're doing a high lift tint and you're concerned that it may grab either violet or blue on the blonde if you get any of the color on there. This is a colorless base from Aveda. It's called our Universal 0N. You could also use any colorless base with a low volume developer out there on the market, or you could just use conditioner. And what I'm going to do is just kind of paint that on her blonde. And so if this is conditioner or if it's a colorless base that doesn't have any ammonia in it, you can paint it all the way down. It's going to add some shine to the hair, and it's just going to protect it. That way, if you do possibly get any color or lightener on there, it is going to either one, keep it from turning a color, or if it's a lightener, it's going to protect it from damage, breakage, that sort of thing. So then I'm going to go in with my lightener, and I'm keeping this a 1/2 inch off the scalp. And just working that in really well and then feathering it into any areas. Because if you ever really looked at someone's hair who has grown out this much, generally they do have a hard grow out line from a distance, but when you get up close, you can see where each hair kind of, you know, grows at its own rate. So you will get that kind of softness. So sometimes you do have to do a slight feather into you know, down into the blonde, because not all the hairs are exactly the same, which I think is pretty interesting, you know. All right, so we're just going to keep on going. And for those of you that, you know, are just joining, my name is Dawn, and my Instagram handle is right up here. I'm Dawnzy Pants. So follow me. If you put any questions up today that I don't get to answer, please message me on Dawnzy Pants. I'll be happy to answer any questions for you that you might have. And I'd love to be your friend. So please follow me. I'll follow you back. We'll have some fun. I'm always available. I love to share things that I know with other people. So, and Dawnzy Pants is my my Instagram handle for like my teaching. So there's just, I put my classes up there and things like that. I've got way too many Instagrams. So anyway, all right. How we doing out there? Is everybody liking what you're seeing so far? Yes, no, maybe? All right, so I'm going to protect her blonde again, so if I'm using a high lift tint, you know, and I'm worried about her getting blue or violet, I can protect her blonde this way. So that will also give her a little extra shine. And then I can go through with my lightener, 1/2 inch off the scalp, and then just work that through really well. All right, feather it in just to make sure that there's no lines or anything that we've missed. And then I'm going to sandwich my foil. I'm sandwiching my foil so that I can get back in here to apply my new growth area. So I'm not going to take the foils out before I apply my new growth area. All right, here we go. Y'all are very quiet. Are y'all still in your pajamas this morning? What's going on? If you're in your pajamas, give me some hearts. I'm jealous. So working this through, making sure that I'm getting proper saturation. So if I've done, you know, a little bit of a thicker section and I'm wondering if I have one little area right here. I don't know if you can see it. I'll turn it around. Right in here, that didn't go all the way through. So I know that I need to put a little bit more lightener on that area. So I'm going to put a little bit more on my brush and really work that hair back and forth. The hair will literally roll back and forth. So making sure that I've got plenty of color on there, or lightener, or whatever you might be using. I'm using lightener. There we go. I'm going to turn her back this way. There we go. All right, so just, you know, a few tips and tricks. And that would go for if you're doing a highlight or like a foilage or anything like that. If you can lift that hair up and see if that color is going all the way through. If it's not, you're not going to get the lightness and the brightness that you might be looking for. So again, I'm holding my foil up so that I get a nice soft dismount of color at the top, so there's no harsh lines. How we doing? Y'all are very quiet. Are they quiet or are they good?
I think Loopy's doing a great job.
Loopy's doing a great job. Oh, thank you, Loopy. I appreciate it. All right, so here we go. So we're gonna keep this going up here. And there we go. All right. So for those of you that haven't been on very long, my name is Dawn. I'm Dawnsy Pants. I'm part of the Hair Color Magic team, and this is our Shituation series. I love the name. So when we finally get back into the salons after all of this pandemic is said and done, I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of shituations in the salon. And so we are trying to bring you things that you'll definitely be able to use when we return to the salon. So this one today is for overly grown out blondes, like all over blondes. Tomorrow, my friend and Hair Color Magic team member Haley Reeb will be on here at the same time. And she is going to be doing a really cool technique called a high-low drop technique that is going to be addressing overly grown highlights. So today I've got the overly grown all-out blonde, and tomorrow she will be here for overly grown out highlights. So you definitely want to make sure that you see her tomorrow because it's a really cool technique. It's fast, it's easy, it's a lot of fun. So I highly recommend you seeing that tomorrow. All right, a little there. And then for, also I've said this once